How do you write to spread happiness? You write for yourself, and you also write for others. And it's not only writing a thank you note or writing a letter of appreciation. For anything that you write that can communicate or bring in a smile on your recipient's face, it's a blessing in disguise, that I can say. Because if you see, and if you've listened to your first speaker also, she ended up saying that you have to maintain your affirmations. You and the second speaker, Mr. Kishore, also said how he maintains a gratitude jar where he is putting in notes of everything that he is grateful for. How your writings can help to bring a smile on your readers' faces, on your recipients' faces. I'll start with my talk. So when I was young and I was in my graduation, I did my graduation from University of Mumbai, Bachelor's of Mass Media. I understood that there were no textbooks that I could refer for a subject called as media laws and ethics. And as an undergraduate student, I dreamt of writing and bringing out a book for media students who could actually refer to a media guide towards press laws. And what we were doing, or we were asked to do, were to refer LLP or law-related books to understand the press laws, which is very difficult because we were not trained to understand law in the original legal parlance. We had to understand law from the media perspective. And because that entire concept of media laws was not so prevalent as in the form of a textbook or a reference guide, I dreamt as an undergraduate student to bring out this book. So the journey started when I was going through my UG, and I started writing down all my notes, collecting syllabi from various colleges and universities, and bringing out a comprehensive book. The book was out when I was 24, and the UN, the United Nations, I'm attending a youth TEDx talk right now, and the UN defines youth as from an age group from 15 to 24. And people like us in our early 30s might not fit into the group. But today, in this capacity, I would, in this platform, I would like to address this issue or this mindset that even if you are of a younger age group, do not underestimate your potential. Because what happens is we have a tendency to neglect the younger age group by stating, age factors. You're too young, you're too naive, you're too, you do not know the nitty-gritties of the organization or the state. And I can hear, again, hats off to your leader, Mrs. Anupama Chopra, letting young children, young students like Miss Aditi, taking over this, hosting and moderating this show brilliantly. And that is to also reiterate this point that age should not be a factor to belittle your potentials, your skills. And that, at the age of 24, when I had that audacity to bring out a published book, which is now, if you Google it up, it's Introduction to Media Laws and Ethics by Dr. Juhi Pathak, you will understand that book is now counted as a reference book in across universities, across, public, private, central universities, state universities. That book, now when I receive the feedback from students all over who write to me and saying that that book is of help to them, and I'm sure it is brought because it's a very peaceful feeling that somebody there is finding happiness in getting a book which helps him or her understand a subject. So that is what I want to say. Finally, the recent book that I was writing, it is on Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan, Mr. Shri Juhi Pathak. I do not know how many of you know about him, but he's a 12 times National Film Award winner. And that book, you would not believe, I was watching in my recreation time. I was having this luxury of watching one of his films. And I had a few observations regarding the film, and I wrote it down. And see, we all of us, we watch n number of films, we watch n number of shows, web series, and whatnot. But how many of us we take the step of giving a feedback to the director of the movie? We just watch and we discuss among our friends, and we just leave it there. But that one step to just, because I saw his film and I had a few observations, I got in touch with sir and I sent him a very polite email. Just, sir, this is what I have seen in your movie. And that movie which I saw was a 1982 movie. It was released in 1982. And I had this following observations. And please, sir, guide me. He reverted on my email and he said that I would want to give you all my films. And I want your understanding of what do you think of my films. And by the blessing of whatever divine force is there, the book is now, the entire write-up is now in 3 volumes. It is published by, it was the publication was, it came out as a research project under a New Delhi-based NGO, Captain Aish Pursatha Foundation. And that just one write-up to an email to the director of a movie, of a film, produced and directed in the year 1982, just stating a small feedback brought in so much of happiness, and it gave me a research project, which, and finally that research, if you just again Google it up, it's a film appreciation on the cinemas of Janu Barwa. It featured on the front page of the Hindu. Just imagine, it started with a letter written by a movie enthusiast, as I would call myself, to the director, just giving sir a feedback or on my observations of his directed film. And that is what writing for spreading happiness. And now just imagine this 3 volumes of work on a person on whom not much was written about earlier. Just imagine how many smiles I would be spreading if this 3 volumes reaches to all his fans, all the film enthusiasts, people from Northeast who would want to know more about his work. And that is how it's again, everything that you begin, it has to not only initiate something, but it has to have a certain objective in mind to complete the entire loop. Just like my first book, when I was just 24-year-old, bringing out a book on Introduction to Media Laws and Ethics with no understanding of how the book would be received. I did not even have the understanding to assume that who am I to be just a college graduate to be writing such an important book. And just because understand that, I would say it is a skill that every one of you, this young students that I can see here, to understand where there is an opportunity. You need to identify that opportunity and make the most of it. And writing for spreading happiness, it's not only that you have to become an author to write something. With social media, with digital platform where you can tweet somebody, everything has now become a DM, direct message. And to reach out people, it's so much more easier. But even that effort, sometimes we just neglect, thinking that who would care to revert to our message, who would care to revert to whatever we are saying, who's taking note. You never know who takes note. Most of the books that you read, and the self-help books, the affirmations books, the books that they help you, and you take the knowledge, and we all take the best of those guidance and help, but we forget sometimes to thank the person who's giving out to us to make our lives better. So sometimes it's very important, this entire feedback. Even in this session, I can see the Q&A session. The Q&A session is what? It's about the interaction that we are going to have and your questions. And what if you don't pose a question? What is that entire effort of asking a question gives a positive impact that you were good listeners. And that is a very good note for the speaker, who's happy that somebody in this entire 100 plus group was listening to the conversation, got a few take home notes, and is inquiring about further questions, which also means that you were a good listener, which makes our talk all the more beneficial, and the objective of this interaction is fulfilled. So how do you start writing? Yesterday also I was attending an event, and somebody said, I have a lot to write, but when I start writing, I do not understand how to begin with. So begin with by small portions. You need not write an essay on everything, but start with writing down your innermost, feelings. Like we say, writing a diary for yourself. Like I said, you, at the end of the day, we do so many activities, but we do not know, and we think, are we still sad? Why aren't we happy? We aren't happy because we do not count our blessings on an everyday basis. Just before you wind up with your day, just write down the things that you're grateful for, your affirmations for the next day, your understanding of how you would want to plan every day. You have to plan out, just write down, and you will, the next day, when you follow all of those points that you've written down, your to-do list, your checklist, it will fill up all your time leakages. You will make most of your day. And she's Dr. Kriti Singh, by the way. You can also Google up her name. She is a good academician, a research scholar. And the one small advice from the lady changed my entire way that I see my day. Just imagine, what did I do? I just wrote down what I wrote down, my to-do list. And the next day, when I saw my entire day being consumed in a very fruitful way, it brought a smile on my face, which is very important. You cannot be spreading happiness unless you are yourself happy, unless you are yourself contented. And how can you be contented? How can you be happy? You can only be happy when you are just conscious of what you are doing, how you are doing, the way you are executing your work, and also how you are making a difference to the lives of others. So just a thank you note. I come home someday and I see a note that, probably you're late, and you're just a small note by a family member, and your food is on the table. Just that small note would bring so much of happiness. But how many of us are actually grateful for the people around us? Just like Mr. Karan had said, just that small great gratitude word, that thank you, brothers, thank you, my parents, for doing whatever you have done to make me a better person. That thank you is sometimes it's missing in our entire life. And what do we do? And after we probably lose touch with those people, our friends, who have at one point in time helped us, and that small word of seeking forgiveness, again reiterating from Mr. Karan's talk, that you just have to say sorry when you have to say sorry. You have to just say thank you when you have to say thank you. Write down a few notes, write down affirmations for yourself, write down your work, how you have to plan your day. Everything that you write down, just do not see it as alphabets or letters. These are life-changing. It's a life-changing skill. And if you incorporate that skill, it will help each one of you to organize your life, to make most out of your time. And also at the end of the day, when I sleep, I'm just with myself. And I think whatever I have done. And at that point, you cannot lie to yourself. And if you are sleeping with a smile on your face, thinking about all the smiles that you've spread with the people you have interacted with during the day, you will see the change. And the same change that, again, the spirituality part. What is life after all? It's the 4 purusharths, right? Earth, wealth, calm, desire, dharma, righteousness, and moksha, liberation. And every day, when you end your day with a smile on your face, and you through the day, you work towards bringing smile on others' faces, that is what would finally lead you to a liberated life. You lead a liberated, you do not find liberation when we are dead. After death, nobody knows whether you are, liberated, whether you're happy, whether you're sad. Nobody knows about it. You need to, and this is again, this is my observation. I can be completely wrong. I do not have much knowledge on spirituality as such, but I feel liberation is not post-death. Liberation is leading a liberated life, while you are alive, while you are conscious, while you know that, I am leading a life in which I am not bogged down by negativity, and I'm leading a life. Why do we write affirmations? We write affirmations to keep our souls light. Okay. And that is what the feeling of being liberated is, that you, in any moment, if the heartbeat stops, the soul is light enough to have that traverse of, that continued feeling that you have led a good life, and you have brought in so much of smiles. Like Dr. Divya just said, that 400 times you need to smile a day. That smile won't come easy with so much of the VUCA factor, the volatility, the uncertainty, the complexity, and the ambiguity that we're surrounded with. It will come only when we spread smiles through each other, making the society a happier place, making your community a happier place, making the world that we live in a happier place. We have this happiness index. All of this does not come in thin air. There is a lot of work going in the background for us to be, the small contribution of happiness or happy factor that we, all of us, if we pull in and if we put in together, I'm sure the world would be a happy place. On that note, I would like to end this lecture.